Hey everyone, this is Shannon with Smokin the Wild, and on this week's episode, I'm going to be taking these bell peppers and stuffing it with this smoked ground venison with some twist. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned because we're fixing to get wild. Ah, there he is right there. All right, let's jump right into it. Tonight, what I'm doing is in my mixing bowl, I've already put 2 packages of smoked ground deer meat that I processed myself from a deer that I shot last year, as well as a pound of ground breakfast sausage. Now, I am excited because we're about a month and a half or so away from deer season starting here in Oklahoma. I can't wait to get a deer on the ground because then I can show you exactly how I do my ground deer meat. And from what I'm told, when you try it, I don't think you're going to want to have ground deer meat any other way. So because of how I process it and what I do to it, again, this deer was shot last fall and I can still smell the smokiness even though it's been in the freezer all this time. It's wonderful. So I've already pre-mixed everything together, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about, probably 3 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. There's 2, there's 3. I've done this enough. I really don't have to use mixing bowls or mixing utensils because I've done it enough. I'm pretty well accurate. So I've got that in there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons of sea salt. Get that in there. There's 1. All right. And there is 2. All right. Get that in there. All right. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 3 tablespoons of granulated garlic. There's 1, there's 2, yep, there's 3, and 1 to grow on. All right, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Mexican oregano, and instead of just pouring it directly in there, I'm using, that's about a tablespoon right there. I'm actually going to crush it in my hand. It helps release more of the flavor and get that in there, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some cattle call seasoning. You guys see me, almost every episode I use this because it's just that good. And I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of this cattle call in here. We'll be adding more later, but I'm going to get this in here, get that mixed in there. Then, I haven't used this on camera yet, but I use it all the time. This is Bearded Butcher's Black. It actually has instant coffee in it, as well as some molasses and other ingredients. It's a wonderful, wonderful rub. I am also going to put about 2 tablespoons right here into the mix. All right? There we go. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a can of diced tomatoes that I drained. I'm also going to take a can of drained RO-TEL, and I'm going to add about half. Okay? All right. You know what? Let's just put the whole thing. There we go. All right. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the mixers that God gave me, and I'm going to get in here and get this mixed up. But before I do that, I forgot I'm actually going to add, this is about a half to 3/4 of a cup of diced cilantro. I'm going to get that in there. No, I'm not making meatloaf tonight. So let's get in here and get this mixed by hand. All right, let's roll our sleeves up a little bit here. I'm just going to get in here. I've already washed my hands really, really good. We're going to get all that mixed together. Oh, man, that smells so, so good. All right. Get that in there. Get it good and mixed. And like I said, we'll be adding some more spices to it in a little while. But for now, this is good and mixed. All right, I'm going to go over there and get my hands washed and head to the next step. All right, we're over here on the stove. I'm going to kick these up to about medium to medium high. Won't take long. I am going to take some extra virgin olive oil. Won't need much for the venison and sausage mix. I'm also going to add some to this vintage cast iron skillet over here because we're going to be sauteing some onions separately. The reason why I'm doing that is we have 2 kids in the house that say they can't stand onions. It's hard to believe they come from the same family, but nonetheless, and I'll show you why I'm doing that separately in just a minute, all right? Then what we're going to do is we're just gonna dump out this mixture. We're gonna set it in this pan and we're gonna brown it. And it'll take a little bit because it's so thick, but you'll see why we did that in just a moment. All right, while this is starting to brown, we're gonna go ahead and add our onions in here, all right? And we're gonna try to do the best we can to caramelize these, all right? Because we're actually gonna be layering these bell peppers. And like I said, I won't be adding this to 2 of the kids' pepper because they claim they don't like it, even though they have onion in their meals a lot more than I give it that they know about. But tonight I thought I'd be fair, and I don't know if it's a texture thing for them, but they have onion all the time and don't even know it. But anyway, nonetheless, stir this meat. It's already starting to brown on the underneath. Like I said, this is kind of thicker, so it's going to take a little longer than normal, but that's okay because we got time. All right, these onions are done. They are pretty good and caramelized already. So we'll turn the fire off. We'll just kind of let them continue to do that. This meat is starting to brown. All right, there's a little bit of liquid in here simply because we added that little bit of balsamic vinegar plus from the tomatoes and RO TEL, even though I drained it, but that's okay. It'll cook out. All right, again, you don't want this meat completely done, but we want to get it probably 80% done, maybe 75% done, because remember, they're going to continue to cook while they're inside the peppers when we put them on the grill, the hasty bake, okay? Or if you're putting them in the oven. However you're doing it, they're going to continue to cook. But this is starting to get brown. We probably have about 5 more minutes, maybe 8, something like 5 to 8 minutes left. And then we're going to be able to start stuffing the peppers. All right, while we wait for the meat to get done on the stove, I'm going to work on the next element of these stuffed bell peppers. Now, you can use rice if you want to, but as I said on a previous episode, my wife and I are basically on this new way of eating, and we're reducing our carbs, if not eliminating them. So I am actually going to use riced cauliflower. Now, in one of the episodes, I actually made mashed rice cauliflower, and our kids loved it. In fact, I made mashed potatoes for them side by side, and they all said that they actually like the rice cauliflower just as much. Now, sometimes the texture of rice cauliflower, even for me, kind of is a little bit, even though I spice them up and all of that, but I'm gonna go ahead and mash them, and we're actually gonna add layers to these peppers. And so I found a new technique on how to do that, so I'm gonna show you that right now. So what I'm gonna do is I've got these 2 bags. It's probably enough. 1 bag would probably be enough, but I'm gonna go ahead and make 2. We could always use it for leftovers later, but I'm gonna put them in the microwave for about 5 minutes, about 5 to 6 minutes, and then I'm gonna show you what I've learned since I showed you how to do this last. Before the rice cauliflower is done in the microwave, what I went ahead and did is I checked the meat, it's ready, so I turned the fire off. I washed my original mixing bowl out good with some hot, soapy water. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the meat, I'm going to take this strainer, I'm going to drain off all of the liquid into the sink, then I'm going to dump the meat in here, bring the rice cauliflower over, and I'm going to show you the next step. All right, I've got everything over here now. Before I forget about it, I'm using a hasty bake grill, but this can be made on any grill. It can be made in your oven. The reason why I like the hasty bake is I get to grill and smoke at the same time. I've got the hasty bake sitting a little over 300 degrees right now. I actually have the diffuser on, and I'm cooking over hardwood charcoal as well as some apple wood. And the smoke that's going to be applied to these peppers is just going to take it to a whole new level. So as I'm sitting here talking to you, I can smell all the ingredients coming off this deer meat that I drained and put back in this mixing bowl, clean mixing bowl. And I haven't said this before, but I'm going to tell you now, a great chef kind of tastes along the way. So I'm just going to kind of taste this meat to make sure it doesn't need anything else. And it does not. Wow. Oh, my goodness. Okay. These are going to be good. So now that I've got this rice cauliflower cooked, all right, I'm going to do 1 package at a time. Dump it in your food processor. All right. The trick that I learned since I last spoke to you is I'm going to go ahead and rehydrate it just a little bit by adding some filtered water to it. Not very much, just a little bit. And we're going to mix this bad boy up, and it's actually going to mash it for me. All right, take it and kind of shake it up so it kind of gets off the side and do it again. All right, then we're gonna add the second package. All right, after looking at everything, this is one package of done rice cauliflower that I just did in my food processor. And looking at the bell peppers that I have, I decided just to do one package. I'm gonna refrigerate the other one. We'll use it next night or two, so it's not gonna go to waste. But now I want you to do is I want you to look at what I've done with these bell peppers. So now what I'm gonna do is I've already cut all the tops off here. I've already cleaned them out, but what I want to show you that I'm gonna do is I'm taking all the tops and putting them in this baggie, because later on I can use it for salads or another meal. What's that old saying? Waste not, want not? All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start filling these bell peppers. I'm gonna layer it. I'm gonna put just a small layer of meat at the bottom of each one, and so forth and so on, all right? Then I'm gonna take some of this Parmesan, and I'm gonna add a layer of Parmesan. Then I'm gonna take a layer of rice cauliflower, and I'm just gonna keep doing that until I get these bad boys filled. Another layer of meat. All right, let's add just a little bit of Parmesan there. All right. Just a little bit more of the rice cauliflower with just a little bit more meat. All right, get those good and packed in there. Let's add just a little bit more Parmesan, and we are good to go. We're gonna finish the rest of these out, but I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna finish them. All right, I've already got them all set up. So you might be asking yourself, what, he sauteed some onions, he caramelized some onions, what is he gonna do with that? Well, I've already got started, but I've made two of our daughters. One will probably eat two, the other one will probably eat one. So how am I gonna know the difference? Because on the top, they're all gonna look the same. I put a toothpick in 3 of them, and that's exactly how I'm gonna know whose is what, all right? So on these 3, I've taken the sauteed onions, and I haven't filled them quite full with the other ingredients, and I'm gonna take these onions and I'm just gonna compact it down in there, all right? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take just a little bit of New Mexico green chili from Hatch, New Mexico, and I'm gonna kind of top it off. It isn't overly spicy, but it'll be good for myself, our oldest daughter, and my wife. All right, then I'm gonna top it off. One last step, I'm gonna take some smoked paprika for color and a little bit of flavor, and I'm just gonna hit the tops of them on all of them. And that's just as pretty as it knows how to be. Oh, I can smell that smoked paprika. These are gonna be fantastic. All right, we've got everything done. I've got it on this roasting pan. We're gonna go put it in the hasty bake. Again, we're going for an internal temperature of 160 degrees, all right? The only way we're gonna know that, even though we cooked it on the stove, we still wanna get the temperature up. We're only gonna be able to do that with our trusty meat thermometer. While it's on the grill, I'm gonna come in here and do a little cleanup. I'm gonna take this leftover meat, put it in the container, put it in the fridge. We'll eat it for leftovers one day this next week. Again, waste not, want not, so let's go to the hasty bake. All right, our hasty bake's been holding at 300, a little over about 305. Whew, wee. Got it on our trusty roast pan, put them in there real easy because they'll top over just like that. Don't worry, that's okay. I show it how it goes. Just put those ingredients back on there, we're good. No retakes on Smokin the Wild. All right, in about 20 minutes, we'll come out and check on it. All right, got my trusty little grill out here. It's gotten dark. Ooh, look at that, don't that pretty. Oh my goodness, can you look at that right there? Oh my goodness. Whew, that's hot in there, but these are firmed up just enough, but the skin on the peppers is just starting to crack. Let's temp it. Oh man, they're ready to pull off. We're at temperature. Oh, can you hear it sizzling? Oh man, they're ready to come off. Let me grab my grill gloves and we'll get those rascals off. All right, all right, all right, all right. Whew. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Wow. Oh, smell the smokiness. My goodness, you got to come here and take a look at this. A little bit of the balsamic vinegar, it looks like, kind of leaked out of one of these. That's okay, because when these peppers start to roast and bake and get smoky and hot, they start to blister and kind of spread apart just a little bit. That's how you know they're kind of almost done. And some of the balsamic vinegar and some of the liquid that was still left over kind of leaked out, but it's perfectly okay. This pan is so hot, so I'm just gonna get my tongs. Oh my goodness, again, I've got 3 of them with toothpicks in them. That's how I know it's for the kids. These other ones have all that goodness in there. They've got the roasted green chilies and as well as the caramelized onions. Oh, wow. I'm gonna take the biggest one here. I'm gonna plate this. Oh my gosh, oh man, this, I could sit here and just smell. You almost get kind of full with all the smells. You know, speaking of that, I've had some people that I've met have asked me, you know, I mean, this is a meal that, you know, meals like this, can it just be made in the oven? And the answer is absolutely. You can make it on your pellet grill. You can even make it on your propane grill if that's what you want to do. But is it worth it by doing it in the way I just did it on a smoker and a grill, like a hasty bake? And the answer is yes. It just takes the flavor from here to here. Now again, there's little to no carbs involved here. Good lean protein. Venison's a very good lean protein. But if you're gonna eat, why not eat great tasting food? From the time I started prepping, just like most of the meals you're gonna see us cook here on Smokin the Wild, we've got about 30, 35 minutes involved, but the taste is absolutely worth it. Easy cleanup, it wasn't hard to make. You know, the bottom line is on Smokin the Wild, I mean what I say when I say, we want to take people from saying, wow, I can't do something like this, to wow, I just did this. Talk about great tasting food that's easy to make. Let's come in here, and the last thing to do is I want you to take a look at it. We're gonna taste it and take it from there. All right, now the last thing I'm gonna do on mine is I'm gonna take some Bearded Butcher Black that I used. I'm gonna go ahead and spice it up just a little bit more. To me, you can't have too much spice. I'm gonna take just a little bit more Parmesan. And because I love chives, I'm gonna top mine off with some chives. And then the next thing I'm gonna do, I mean, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Let me tell you something. I guarantee it looks as good as it tastes. I want you can't really see, I don't think, on camera, but this is just beginning, the skin, like I said, is just starting to kind of bubble up. That means it's perfect. The last thing to do is to cut into this thing. I'm just gonna slice it right down the middle. Gonna splay it open, and I want you to take a look at the layers. That kind of fell apart on me, but it doesn't matter. It's not gonna affect the taste. Look at the layers in there. Let's taste it. All right, the next thing to do is to taste this. Now, again, I cannot stress this enough. The smokiness coming off of this, and you can smell it. I mean, you can smell the ingredients. Good, wholesome, clean ingredients, easy to make. Now there's only one thing to do. Let's get off a little bit of that bell pepper. That's a big steak knife, isn't it? Oh my goodness, let's get some of the filling in here. Get some of that. That time out on the field, that right there is a touchdown. 6 ways to Sunday. That is absolutely amazing. You know, I can taste just a little hint of the RO TEL. There's not much heat in there at all. It's just enough. And then the balance of the bell pepper kind of blends that together. The smokiness, the rubs, the cilantro, the garlic, the tomatoes, just the Parmesan cheese, just all of the ingredients. It is absolutely fantastic. And you know how easy this was to make? Anybody can do it. It was quick, it's easy, it's great for you. Lean protein in the deer meat that doesn't taste like most deer meat that most people have ever tried. I promise you. I can't wait to show you that episode when I show you how we prepare our deer meat from the field to the table. Hey, thanks for watching. If you haven't yet had a chance to subscribe, I'm asking you to go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Click that bell notification to get future notices of future episodes. I can't wait till you go out and make this meal. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.